Gavin Newsom's corruption is unraveling faster than he goes through hair gel. And the panic? Oh, it's showing. The governor's practically in meltdown mode, whining to a crowd that President Trump's DOJ is going to step in to monitor next week's California election. Imagine that. The proof of fraud? It is piling up, and we're going to show it all to you. Plus, wait until you see the clip where Gavin brags about California having the largest population of foreign-born residents. It's not a coincidence, it's part of the plan, and today we're going to connect the dots. Then later in the show, AOC gives a speech that sounds like a one-way ticket straight to the loony bin. And the more she talks, the worse it gets. In fact, this is one of the most comical clips I've seen from her in a while. Plus, a House Democrat gets grilled on CNBC and absolutely humiliated over his flip-flop on the government shutdown. Make sure you like this video, subscribe if you're new here, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you all join me today. Prop 50 is on the ballot in California, a measure that would let Gavin Newsom gerrymander the state even further. Now, conservatives are already silenced here. In 2024, President Trump got just over 38% of the vote, yet Democrats hold 43 of the 52 House seats. That means only 9 Republicans represent nearly 40% of California voters. If Prop 50 passes, Democrats could grab 5 more seats, leaving Republicans with just 5 out of 52. Democrats love to cry about democracy, but they've been playing musical chairs for years while telling Republicans, go stand in the corner. Well, not anymore. The right is pulling up its own chair, and they are getting in the game. Now, Gavin's been sweating bullets ever since President Trump said that he might send the National Guard to help secure the election sites. And now, the Trump administration is taking it one step further. The DOJ says it will monitor polling places to make sure California's election is free and fair. Here's the start of Newsom's downward spiral.
I was just on the line because the DOJ is being sent out to California to monitor our election. I have an election November, Prop 50, a statewide election. They have no business, no jurisdiction to monitor it.
Starting to sound a little nervous there, Governor? Maybe that's because your so-called clean elections are under the microscope, and for good reason. I mean, the corruption under your watch has been obvious to anyone with any bit of common sense. We're going to dig into that in just a second, but first, let's see how President Trump responded, and let's just say the trolling was master level. Trump wrote on Truth Social, quote, "What's worse, the NBA players cheating at cards and probably much else, or the Democrats cheating on elections? We now know everything. I hope the DOJ pursues this with as much gusto as befitting the biggest scandal in American history. If not, it will happen again, including the upcoming midterms. No mail-in or early voting, yes to voter ID. Watch how totally dishonest the California prop vote is. Millions of ballots being shipped. Get smart, Republicans, before it's too late." Now, Gavin's attempt at firing back reads like this, quote, "Ramblings of an old man that knows he's gonna lose." Well, that's kind of ironic because Gavin went on Stephen Colbert's show, and I can't show it to you, unfortunately, because of copyright issues, but I'm going to read to you exactly what he said. I'm going to try and channel my inner Gavin Newsom because the hypocrisy here is off the charts. He said, quote, "I fear that we will not have an election in 2028. I really mean that in the core of my soul, unless we wake up to the code red of what is happening in this country and we wake up soberly to how serious this moment is." End quote. Now, by Gavin's own definition, that sounds like his rambling of an old man who knows he's going to lose. Here's the reality. President Trump's DOJ absolutely has the authority to monitor elections, any election, to enforce federal voting laws and protect the integrity of the process. They've done it before. They're going to do it again if needed. Now, the state may run the vote, but the feds ensure that it's fair. And judging by Newsom's reaction, it looks like someone's afraid of what they'll find because here's how corruption under his watch is getting exposed. Take a look at this from the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Department. Watch this.
The way the voting system is structured, we see quite a few flaws. You're able to register even and cast a vote if you don't live in the country, as evident of his brother in Pakistan. And I think we have some evidence of 2 or 3 other people out of the country that have voted. Is that correct?
Yeah, approximately 2 or 3 other people out of the country, as well as people residing outside of the district.
Okay. The online voter registration system, it seems to be an honor system. Anybody can put information in there to register to vote. All you have to do is click a box and say that you're not lying, and then you'll get an email from the Secretary of State or something in the mail saying, "Thank you for registering to vote." And there you are. Once you're on the voter rolls, anytime an election comes around, guess what? You get mailed a ballot, right? You get mailed something to vote. So we found that a little bit problematic.
A little problematic? That's one way to put it. The sheriff said they also found people voting in counties they didn't even live in. Plus, 93 voters listed with a birth date of 1850. 232 registered to local prisons. 125 were tied to a nonprofit, 300 with no first names, and 110 double voters with the same name, birth date, and address, but different registration numbers. And remember, this is just one county in California. So when voter registration is run on the honor system, it's no wonder Gavin Newsom keeps flooding the state with illegal immigrants. He's padding the rolls, and he's proud of it.
California is America, but only more so. We're the most, in the spirit of your introductory remarks, and just to set the scene, it's the size of 21 state populations combined. It's the most diverse state in the world's most diverse democracy. 27% of my state is foreign-born.
Yeah, and 100% of that sounds like part of the plan, because we all know which box that 27% is checking on Election Day. Now, even Arnold Schwarzenegger, a man who actually ended gerrymandering during his term, is calling out how rigged this game has become. Watch Jake Tapper try to blame Republicans for it, and Arnold absolutely terminates that narrative.
As you acknowledged, this all started because of redistricting in Texas, and this was Trump pushing Republican-controlled states to throw out their current congressional maps so as to cook the books, so that it is less likely for Democrats to retake control of the House during the next year midterms. I mean, is it fair to argue that do you believe that the Republican Party is starting this?
No, Jake. There has been gerrymandering going on for 200 years. There is such extreme gerrymandering going on that in a state like Massachusetts, it has like 40% of the people voting for Trump. They have zero representatives. The Republican Party has zero representatives sent to the House. Think about that. In New Mexico, if 45% of the people voted for Trump and voted Republican, and zero is sent to the House, zero representative from the Republican Party. So there's gerrymandering, crazy gerrymandering going on all over the country.
He's exactly right. And Democrats are in full meltdown mode because they've already gerrymandered every inch of the map. Republicans, they finally decided to push back, and suddenly, now it's a threat to democracy. Well, guess what? Even Princeton University, of all places, gave California's congressional map an F grade, calling it one of the worst gerrymanders in 50 years. Watch this.
The map the politicians drew that they're trying to institute in California isn't just a gerrymandered map. Princeton University analysts called it one of the 2 worst gerrymanders in the last 50 years and gave it an F grade. So my message to Californians is, I think that we deserve better than an F.
Only Democrats could hold 43 seats to Republicans' 9 and still claim they're the ones underrepresented. That's like a kid hoarding all the Halloween candy and crying that someone else got an extra Snickers. But Gavin's political disasters, they don't stop at election maps. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, he just yanked $40 million from California for refusing to enforce English language requirements for truck drivers after an illegal immigrant with a California license killed 3 people in Florida. You probably remember this story. That driver failed his test 10 times, including the English portion, but still got his license. Only in Gavin's California can you fail every test and still get a participation trophy and a California driver's license. Well, Duffy, he's now vowing to punish Gavin Newsom even further after another illegal with a California driver's license just killed 3 more people on a California freeway.
Gavin Newsom has thumbed his nose at us. He's refused to comply with the rules that have come from DOT, which is stop issuing these licenses, number 1. And number 2, go back and review all the licenses that you have issued and make sure it's been done legally. Gavin Newsom has said no. So 1, I'm about to pull $160 million from California. And as we pull more money, we also have the option of pulling California's ability to issue commercial driver's licenses. Gavin Newsom cares more about illegals getting commercial driver's licenses than he does the citizens of his own state and the safety of Americans. It's shameful. He's been lying about what he's been doing. And again, we're gonna fight tooth and nail under President Trump's administration to make sure that we hold states like California accountable.
Good. Because the only way you're going to get to these politicians is to wake them up and cut them off from their access to the government's credit card. Because right now, they're just spending it like it's monopoly money. And while California is collapsing under Gavin Newsom's leadership, he's gearing up for a 2028 presidential run because apparently wrecking one state, that just wasn't enough.
I'm looking forward to who presents themselves in 2028 and who meets that moment. And that's the question for the American people.
Is it fair to say after the 2026 midterms, you're going to give it serious thought?
Yeah, I'd be lying otherwise. I'd just be lying. And I can't do that.
Okay. Gavin wouldn't lie, right? Unless there's a camera, a crowd, or a campaign check. I mean, this is the same guy who told you it wasn't safe to eat out while dining at the French Laundry. This is the guy who bragged about cutting homelessness as it jumped 30%. He claimed crime was down while businesses fled the state and turned a $100 billion surplus into a $60 billion deficit. Now he's going on podcasts and acting like he grew up poor, hustling for Wonder Bread and mac and cheese. Watch this.
It was also about paying the bills, man. And it was just like hustling. And so I was out there kind of raising myself, turning on the TV, started, just getting obsessed, sitting there with the Wonder Bread and 5 stacks of,
it's like the White Stack 5 story.
Come on. Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
That's how I grew up, bro.
Yeah. Are you talking about me?
Young YG.
YG,
But
man.
every day in the backyard, just bouncing the basketball, throwing the ball against the wall until the ball is just like fraying, man.
It's all a lie. His dad was a state appellate judge and a Getty oil family attorney. Gavin wasn't hustling for mac and cheese. He was networking over a glass of wine. Now, after his parents' divorce in 1972, yeah, sure, his mom did hustle quite a few jobs. But Gavin, he wasn't poor. In fact, here's one of his poor kid photos that clearly screams struggling orphan, right? Also, as a teen, Newsom was featured in the San Francisco Examiner's, quote, Children of the Rich column, rubbing elbows with the Getty oil children. In fact, after he graduated from Santa Clara University, the Gettys bankrolled his boutique winery. So when Gavin says he's self-made, what he really means is made by the Gettys, bottled in Napa, and then marketed by CNN. The fact that he can't even tell the truth about something as simple as his upbringing tells you everything you need to know about the guy. He's not presidential material. And deep down, he knows it. Here's what he said when asked about the idea of him running for president.
The idea that a guy who got 960 on his SAT that still struggles to read scripts, that was always in the back of the classroom, the idea that you even throw that out is in and of itself extraordinary. Who the hell knows?
Extraordinary is one word for it. Delusional might be a better fit for that. But, in today's Democrat Party, being underqualified, overconfident, and completely detached from reality is basically the job description. Case in point, AOC at Mamdani's rally last night. Watch this.
But we must remember, in a time such as this, we are not the crazy ones, New York City. We are not the outlandish ones, New York City. They want us to think we are crazy. We are sane.
That's exactly what a crazy person says right before they get checked in. And let's be honest, these are the same people who opened the borders, emptied the jails, defunded the police, and can't define what a woman is. They're the party that tells boys they can be girls. And then they turn around and force real women to compete against them. So sorry, AOC, but if you're the sane one in the room, that room needs to be a padded wall. And speaking of delusional, failed vice presidential candidate Tim Walz is now claiming the government shutdown is somehow necessary to stop an authoritarian president from doing whatever it is he wants to do.
I know Democrats are ready to go. I know they're ready to come back and do this. They're ready to come back and protect things that had passed the legislature. They are not willing to come back and let an authoritarian president do whatever he wants.
Do whatever he wants? The authoritarian move he's talking about is passing the same clean CR that Joe Biden already signed off on. I mean, Democrats are the ones showing up with ransom notes, and the media acts like Trump should be the one negotiating with the hostage takers. Scott Bessent, he fired back this weekend at this ridiculous claim. Take a look.
People are suffering. Federal employees are starting to go to food banks. Any light at the end of the tunnel on that? Should the president be meeting with Democrats again?
Well, what good does it do, Martha? They've dug in. The American people are hostage to Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries' poll numbers, because what's changed between now and the last time there was a clean continuing resolution is Chuck Schumer has tanked in the polls. Both of the two guys from Brooklyn, like I call them, are worried about being primaried from the left.
Exactly. The only thing Democrats are negotiating for is better polling. Let's not forget, 52 Republicans and even 3 Democrats have voted 11 times to reopen the government. It's the left that is dug in so deep they might actually hit oil. And when you point out their hypocrisy, boy, do they snap back like a hormonal teenager who just got grounded. Watch Representative Ruben Gallego melt down when asked about his own words. The same guy who said in 2013, you can't shut down the government and still claim to be a patriot. Then in 2019, he said Republicans were putting the country in danger. And in 2023, he preached to put country before party. But not today. Here's what he had to say.
If Republicans shut down the government next time Democrats are in charge to extract whatever it is that they happen to want, are you saying that's okay? Are you saying that's okay if they do that?
I mean, the Republicans have done this quite a while, yes. Yeah,
Republicans have done this a lot. What did you say about it when they did it?
I don't know, and I don't care.
He doesn't know and doesn't care? That pretty much sums up the Democrat platform. Well, if he won't listen to himself, maybe he'll listen to his old boss.
You don't like a particular policy or a particular president? Then argue for your position. Go out there and win an election. Are some of these folks really so beholden to one extreme wing of their party that they're willing to tank the entire economy just because they can't get their way on this issue? Are they really willing to hurt people just to score political points?
The hypocrisy, right? I mean, apparently, yes, Democrats are perfectly willing to tank the economy just to keep their pet projects and perks for illegal immigrants. The lines at the food bank, they absolutely prove it. Watch this.
Federal workers waiting in long lines at this food bank in Southern Maryland.
I would have never thought in a million years that I would have been in this position to have to go to a food bank.
Denise Blake says she drove over an hour to get here. When she finally arrived, they had run out of food.
We have a cart ready for you out front.
Fortunately, she did not leave empty-handed, but she still faces the harsh reality of not knowing how she's going to feed her family while she's not getting paid during the government shutdown.
I don't want my daughter to see me crying.
And as of right now, there's still no end in sight. In fact, it was rumored that Democrats might cave after the No Kings protest, but it turns out Trump's not the one wearing the crown. Tim Burchett says the blame lies squarely on Chuck Schumer.
He sees AOC creeping up behind him, and he knows if she announces tomorrow she will have that. That is no longer Chuck Schumer's base. Chuck Schumer's probably not a communist. He's probably just a far lefty. And he realizes that, so he's got to have that base, and he's going to cause the country to suffer. And shame on the Democrat Party, because in the past, Schumer could just put out something. It didn't have to be the truth, but you know, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, all the cluckheads on The View, they just mimic what he said, and every single Democrat could hide behind Chuck Schumer's skirt. Well, thank goodness for Fox News and a few others, and they're putting the truth out, because America realized that's a lie.
Burchett nailed it. Democrats manufacture chaos, then cash their checks while Americans suffer. I mean, Schumer's basically clinging to power like a cat to a screen door that's terrified of the socialist mob that is nipping at his heels. At this point, Democrats don't govern, they gaslight. And the only thing they're truly united on is keeping you in the dark while they hold the flashlight. All right, up next, Nancy Pelosi could be facing some legal trouble after she tries to flex for Donald Trump. And Letitia James, she gets heckled out of her own public stunt just outside the courthouse after pleading not guilty to her mortgage fraud charges. Go ahead, click on that video you see now on your screen, and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. Good to have you back.